And let's see if it works. There we go. Good. Okay. For some reason, when I go live, it just sits there and it spins when I'm scheduled it. So, not quite sure why it does that, but we're live now. So, I'm super happy. I hope that you enjoy this live, or if you're on the replay, that you kind of chime in on the comments. I have a lot to talk about today, as always, and I'm going to keep this kind of short to about maybe 15, 20 minutes because my mom and stepdad are coming over and we're going to have some roast and all that stuff. So, first time making like a real roast in the oven. I think it maybe has been 20 years. I usually use like the crock pot or the instant pot. So, it smells super good. And the Terrence Harvey is here. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a while since we've said hello. Tonight, I'm talking about goals of 2025. I want to check in with everybody in the Genie community and see how you're doing. It's February 11th. It's not January anymore. We don't have kind of that big energy boost of the new year, which honestly, I think this is the best time to do it because we're not just running on like that New Year's motivation, right? We're trying to keep going. We love to keep going because we want to do our goals. We want to reach the end of something or go through that whole process and that whole journey. So, I have three big goals this year, and two are going really great, and one has kind of not been happening very much. So, yes, the year is still absolutely young, but I always say we don't have to start a goal on January 1st or the first of the month or Monday, right? We can start at any time, especially if, let's say, it's like Wednesday afternoon and we're like, darn it, you know what? I want to do that thing that I've wanted to do. Then that is the time that you're supposed to start it. It's not too late. It's not ever like passed you by. If you kind of think that way, I know that we have this thing where I'm 45 and I'm like, how dare I start my writing right now? And it's absolutely not too late because maybe if I started 10 years ago, that wouldn't have been the time for me. And it might have fizzled out before it should have. So, it is Tuesday evening, and for me at least, and this could be a great time for us to start something. Tomorrow is the full moon, and I love the new and full moon as a time to start if we want to start something fresh, something new at that point. I It was funny. I was swimming today, and luckily on my remote days, I sometimes drop my kids off and swim and then come home and work remote because I get up early those days. And I happen to look at the timer. There's a big timer on the wall that's like red and counts the clock for you, right? If you're doing some splits. And it turned over from 99:59 to 1. And I thought, that's right. It's a fresh start right now in the middle of my swim. And that kind of made me think about this live and what I wanted to talk about because even in the middle of my swim, I was like, all right, let's get it going now. So that was kind of a good theme. It's a good theme for us tonight. So my two goals, I have three goals this year. Two are going great. One is not, but it's okay. It's all right for me to kind of let that one kind of sit for a little bit because I knew it was ambitious to have three big goals this year, but it's only February. And I thought I still have the whole year to work on these. And so the first goal is for YouTube. And I'm starting the year. This is a new goal of mine that crept up in December, as you probably know, and because I've talked about it a lot in my videos. And I challenged myself. I'm challenging myself to post a video a day for 75 days. And when I planned that out, it ends on April 6th, on my daughter's birthday. So that's a way that I can remember it. And I believe in a couple of days, I'll be a third of the way through. And I want to say already, but honestly, it has been a little bit of a struggle some days to not think about what I'm going to post, but to actually have time to like edit my videos and not retake my videos because sometimes I'm watching them and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so boring. And I'm getting my point across, but it's kind of on the boring side. So I refilm it. And sometimes I do that 3 times and I'm like, okay, with this goal, I have smaller goals within them, right? We're going to do that too, that we take these little increments of progress and learning and make the whole thing grow. And that's one of my goals is to stop refilming, or at least like I know that every time I film a video that I'm getting a little bit better, a little more fluent, a little bit less that I have to edit. So this has been an unexpected goal for me is to do this YouTube and grow this community that I thought would not happen for me. So we're up to, I think, 550 genies. So I'm so thankful for that. So I'm happy that all of you are watching and joining us and hopefully rooting each other on for kind of the dream life, right? That's what we're going for and enjoying our life now and going for our goals. My second goal is kind of a secret, so I'm not going to talk about that very much. I will reveal this in a couple of months because it is going to be ongoing and take me a little bit of time. Rosani's here. Thank you for being here so much. I love your videos. And Deb Douglas is here. She's going to be at my house soon eating pot roast. So, my second goal, secret goal, I'm not going to reveal, but I got started on a couple of weeks ago, but officially yesterday because it comes with a course that I'm learning how to do this thing. And it started yesterday. I'm very excited about it. And it's going to be wonderful. And I can't wait to share that one with you. My third goal, I'm looking down at my notes because I don't know about you, but I like to script things out. I'm a writer, I'm a planner, and you meld those together and you have a YouTube script. So I wrote something out earlier and I like to keep on track, but my third goal is writing, and that's the one I'm not going to say that it has fizzled out, but this is the one that I have not allowed time for this year, that when I have extra time, I'm filming a YouTube video or I'm working on my thumbnails and descriptions. So it's okay. I think that later on this year, I'm going to jump back into that. I have the goal of publishing 3 books this year, and I've already done one. That was in January. So it was like, check that one off already. So it's totally okay to, once we get into the year or get into our goals, to pivot like that and say, it's okay to not like push ourselves to do it. Because honestly, I think that did I post the video this week about shiny object syndrome? That I definitely have that with YouTube and this goal, secret goal too. But I'm having a lot of fun. And I think that seeing progress with it, especially with the writing, I keep thinking that if I don't have an hour a day to do it, that it's just not really worth doing, this all or nothing type of mentality. And I think that if I even worked on it for 15 minutes a week, it's not stuck, right? It's not completely stagnant. So pivoting and like reshifting that goal into a smaller progress, smaller steps is probably gonna like mentally make me think that it's not just collecting dust. One of the things that happened this week, which was kind of exciting. I really like the channel Life by Lucy. And I don't know if you saw that video, but we kind of connected a little bit and she watched some of my videos, gave me some comments, which was really exciting. But one thing that I like that she said in her video the other day, she talked about giving her goal, her YouTube goal, a 90-day challenge of posting, giving it like a full 90 days to really immerse herself in it and see how much she could grow her channel. But she talked about giving yourself new chances. And I really liked the way that she said it. She said, you can give yourself a million second chances. I'm going to try this again and it's not really working and I'm going to try it again. And I think that if you're like me, if you're who somebody who has like ever dieted, I'm sorry if this is triggering for anybody, but if you've ever like been on a diet and then the weekend comes and you're like, "Ooh, I'm a little more free and off my regular work schedule," and you eat more or whatever you do. And then Monday comes and you say, "Well, I'm going to start over again on Monday." That's totally fine. Like you're starting over, you're giving yourself another chance. And I like this type of thinking that you're not giving up. That's the main focus there is not giving up and you keep going. And I like to think that like every day, today is the new chance. Tomorrow morning is the new chance. So that I liked her advice and I was like, "Yay, I'm not the only one who thinks that." So, I think also, like, one thing I was talking about with my writing, like, if I don't have an hour, I'm not gonna do it. So that holds me back, and I think that, one of the things that we don't get started, reasons that we don't get started are these things. And do you know what those things are? So I'm going to kind of challenge you this week to, if you have something that you've always wanted to do and you haven't done it, why? What holds you back? Is it the time? Because trust me, like I understand the time thing. I don't always have time. So, but I have little ways that I can carve out a little bit of time during the day or during the week or on the weekend or whatever. That's one thing that holds me back. One thing, like with YouTube, that I've been noticing holds me back is like if I don't have the right setup, like you should have seen me before this video. I was kind of positioning back there and the light was kind of coming in wrong and putting little weird splotches on my face and I was like, I can't do that angle, what about this angle, and moving my little umbrella light around. And sometimes if the lighting's not right or like I want to do a video where I need a whiteboard or a those big post-its that you can stick on the wall. I need to get one of those because then I could move it around anywhere because that darn whiteboard will not stand up for anything. I need an easel and it's driving me crazy. But that prevented me from making that video today and I did have time. So that's one of the things that is holding me back. So we all have our own lists, our own personal lives that we are into and things that hold us back. So I've pinpointed those and I think that will help me in the future be like, well, like I've said, and setting up this office and kind of redecorating it a little bit and getting it ready to just be film ready, right? I know I'm talking about YouTube a lot, but that's kind of my goal this year. One of my goals is to work on this a lot. And the one thing that is holding me back is having a station. Like, I just want to show up in here, sit down, and hit record. And I have the microphones. The lighting is what is messing me up. So if you have lighting tips, let me know because I've seen some videos out there and it's not so far like clicking with me. But one other thing that I want to do, I know it's been about 15 minutes, and then we're going to talk about the new moon a little bit, and then I'll set you free. But tomorrow, at least where I am, it's at like 5:40 is the new moon or the full moon, sorry. And something that's funny, a little funny story. I hope my daughter doesn't mind me telling this, but we frequently, this is the guest room, and I'm looking at our little pull-out bed right now. We frequently sleep together. My husband goes to bed early sometimes, and my 10-year-old likes to sleep with me. And I wasn't sleeping that great, so I went to her room in the middle of the night sometime, and she woke me up. It was so cute. It was like 5:30, and I was about to get up anyway, and she said, "Mom, there's this bright light outside, and it's kind of scared me." So I looked out there, and I'm like, "That's the full moon, honey. It's almost full." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, it is." She's like, "I'm just really tired." It was super cute, but that energy of the full and new moon is really high, and I can definitely feel it. I've been a little emotional this week, honestly, and I'm like, "Well, I don't quite understand that." And then I saw that it was the full moon, and I'm like, "Okay, yep, that makes sense." So that kind of pinpointing that made me a little bit more relaxed. But I kind of want us to think about the full moon tomorrow and kind of make a wish and maybe say it out loud or write it down. I did that today as I was waiting for my daughters to come out of school. I kind of did some journaling and I said, "This is what I want the next 2 weeks to look like." And sometimes that is just that short term is so helpful for us that we can break something down and say, just the next 2 weeks, I want to accomplish X. Like, this is it. For me, that was that goal to getting it started. And then for my YouTube goal, I got a bunch of videos ready over the weekend and I just scheduled them out and I was like, done. That was absolutely awesome. But kind of make a wish and write it down and visualize it happening. Like, set yourself up for success. What does that look like for you? And how would that feel if you actually, and I'm going to like set yourself up and you actually succeed for that and that goal and you see it happening. And I think that visualizing it is kind of part of believing, right? The next step of that is believing that it can happen, because if you kind of get in this thing where you think, well, that's not going to be possible, I want you to think back to other goals that you've had or accomplishments that you've had that you brought into your life that you made happen. So even if you like are a high school graduate, you went through all of those years of school and you got done. And then I'm sure you've had a job before. You went for that job and you got it. That is a accomplishment that you set out to do and that you did it. And maybe you own a house. You didn't always own a house. You didn't always own a car, or you didn't always go on that vacation. Those are things that you've accomplished in your life. And sometimes we don't step back and see how far we've come and see those little things. Because I know for me, whenever I do accomplish something, I'm just kind of looking on to the next thing. And that is something that I'm working on, right? We're always works of progress. So I want you to believe that even this short time, the next 2 weeks, that you can accomplish something with your goal. And maybe with the help of the full moon and with writing it down, because that, I always say, like, is a contract to yourself. And you're like, yes, I'm going to work on this because I said I would. And holding yourself accountable for that is really important also. So sometimes when I wanted to tell a little story, because my mom knows this well about me, that sometimes the things that we want to get done are like a lot, right? We have a lot of things to accomplish. And a lot of times I'll be driving into work. And I used to call my mom every morning on the way to work, but now, like, when I drop my one daughter off, it's like a 2-minute drive. So, and the cell service is terrible. So I sometimes call her on my drive home, but a lot of times I would be going into work and I'd say, I have so much to get done today. I have no idea how I'm going to get it done. And you know what? I do. You put your head down, you focus on it. And those are the things I always write out a list. I'm a list person, right? And at work, I just one at a time check them off. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, oh my gosh, I did it. I actually got all of that done. And that's an accomplishment. And it's like we need to take that step of also praising ourselves for that. So hopefully you do that in your life. And I have some I'm reading the rest of my notes here, but I think that's all for tonight. Thank you for being here, but I have a couple of videos coming out this week that are like fun little videos and little tips of how you can carve out time. I don't know if any of you have kids or jobs or anything where you're kind of pulled away from what you want to achieve sometimes with your goals. Like spending time with your kids and doing all the house stuff is in itself like a challenge, a goal, though, and wonderful at the same time. But sometimes we're like, oh, well, I want to do that other thing tonight and I can't. So I have a couple of tips on how you can kind of carve out some time. So thank you for being here. I'm just really having a great time sharing my journey, and I'm so surprised at how much more comfortable like I am in front of the camera. So if you're a YouTuber and you're afraid to come out here on the camera because the lighting might be bad or your hair might be bad or you might see some like little wrinkles on the screen, it's like, okay, that's me though. But I'm surprised by how often I'm picking up my phone, which is my camera, and filming. And I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of down today. And this is how I'm going to get out of that. I'm really sorry about the sun right there, but I don't want to. All I have to do is pull the curtain, and I'm not going to do that. So, anyway, I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're joining me along this journey, and I want to know what your goals are this year and maybe what is kind of holding you back, because I think being honest about this will help you. It'll help you take that step forward. I did this a little bit today, and you write down a little bit of it's kind of your fears, right? And that is sometimes the enemy of getting started with something, is letting that fear kind of overtake you. So if you acknowledge it and you know what that is, it's sometimes I'm like, well, that's really silly that I don't want to do a video because I'm having a bad hair day today. So sometimes it's something little like that. And when we acknowledge it, we can kind of overcome it a little bit better. So hopefully that makes sense and that you are, yes, I am feeling more comfy, Rosani. I know your videos a lot are of your hands and you doing your crafting. And I'd love to know how you do that because my camera spins when I do that and then it doesn't look that great. So, anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your evening and you'll come back tomorrow because I'm posting a video every day. So hopefully you're enjoying that. I know I am, and I will see you later. Bye.